It's a Shoshana back again with a little bit of painting. In my other video I said I was going to do some drawing, and I'm going to combine some drawing and some painting. We like drawing, so this one's full of hearts. My other video I was showing the pears that I did. I went back and went over the pears with some colored ballpoint pen, green ballpoint pen, and some orange one, and I think that improves them a little bit. And that page that was just a blank, it wasn't blank, it was a nice cut, painted background. I've since drawn a picture on. The background that had the texture from those paints that are not such good quality, I had another look at it to try and decide what I could do with the picture, and there I saw a bit of a profile. So that's what happened on that page. In the tutorial that I was following, which I hadn't quite finished with these pears, there's a technique to paint a pear supposed to be all green. In my case I got a little bit naughty and I adapted and put in some other colors that I preferred, and I left that section without the paint because in the previous one I struggled to lift the paint. So I thought, instead of avoiding a technique, I will go back and see if I can try to perfect it. That was a little bit of a landscape that I did just last night. How about if I draw a couple of pears? I suppose pears come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, don't they? If I do up a couple of pears and see whether I can be able to master this technique. That one comes there. This one maybe we'll put on its side in the stalk. And one of the advantages of having fruit is that they're not all the same shapes and sizes. So I don't know to what extent you can see that, but what I wanted to try and do, so according to the experts, you're supposed to prepare the paint on some kind of a surface, like the inside of the lid from the set of paints. So I'm going to see, and you're supposed to have a bit of a spray bottle, which I haven't yet managed to obtain the right one. So I like that green. I'm going to add in a little bit of this other green as well. Now the object is, instead of avoiding learning this technique, to see if I can actually master it. One tip that I did learn is that you can lift the paint a couple of times. So in this case, the position that she'd put was roughly over here, lifting the paint. I'm going to add a little bit more paint. And she went back in a couple of times to lift the paint. Drying off the paintbrush on, she uses paper towel, and I've used, it has actually lifted it a little bit. Can you see that? Well, that's rather exciting because I struggled in the other one. So let's add a tiny. Now let's see if we do another one. I don't know whether, that's also cracking like the, so now let's see if we do another one, whether I can replicate the same. That's quite nice because it's got two highlight spots there, two spots that have been left. Oh, that's made a puddle of the paint. And now the question is, do I put the highlight in the same spot, or should I move it to the side, to this side? So, if you can see what's happened, I have a nice highlight there, and I've got a puddle of water for. I think that the color of this green is a little bit more suitable for olives than pears, but it's quite a fun color. And that one in the back, I think I'm going to add a little bit of perhaps some orange and some yellow. I haven't yet got a hang of how much water to add. And in this case, I don't have a pear in front of me to look at how the colouring works. I'm trying to go by memory, which is not the best way to do painting. You're supposed to actually have a look at the fruit. I'm very much, whoopsie, a learner here. Not only that, but I'm not yet skilled in doing there's a lot that I need to learn when it comes to watercolor. I used to work with the puddles on this surface, but I'm not quite used to doing that yet. From what I've been learning, it's supposed to be easier to do the background before you do the pears. But sometimes we like to do things the wrong way around, and that's just what being an artist is all about. To behave itself and come down towards the pears without destroying them, or we get this lovely turquoisey colour fitting the pears. Question is, what can I do about that smudge? If one can do it carefully, I've discovered there's a trick, I'm not sure if you're going to see this, to lift that with a little bit of paper towel and make a little bit of an effect over there. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah. Need to bring that blue out a little bit, don't we? So now, aside from the fact that the pears probably need some shadows, the question is whether I learnt the technique of lifting the paint sufficiently, which is what the object of the exercise was.